The morning sun sweeps in through the tall, arched windows of the courthouse and casts great beams of light across the polished wooden floors. Dust floats in golden shafts, visible in the quiet air, like sparks dancing in anticipation of the drama about to unfold. Kody Brown sits at the defendant's table, with his hands tightly clasped together. Even from a distance, the slight tremor in his fingers betrays a storm brewing inside. His eyes, so confident in front of cameras, now dart nervously between the judge, the attorneys, and the gallery filled with people he knows and people he doesn't. Robin sits beside him, her posture rigid, hands clasped so tightly they're nearly white as she leans over occasionally, whispering, "Stay calm. Breathe. We'll get through this." Her voice is soft, almost a lifeline in the tense courtroom. Kody nods subtly, but the doubt creeping in his mind is louder than her words. Across the room, Christine relaxes back in her chair, her gaze sharp with computation. The twitch in each of her fingers, the slight shift in her posture, spoke volumes of one waiting to strike, to see Kody falter and show the cracks that had been hidden for so long. Her lips press into a thin line, betraying both anticipation and satisfaction. Mary sits several seats away, her hands gripping the edge of the bench like bracing against the inevitable. Her eyes are wide, guarding to every movement, every whisper, as if expecting the walls themselves to collapse under the tension. She hasn't spoken much, but the fear in her body language is palpable. Janelle sits quietly, as she usually does, her jaw tight, absorbing the room in silence. She stares directly ahead, but her hands keep clenching and unclenching, betraying the anxiety that will not be spoken. She knows the family dynamics better than anyone. She knows the secrets that are right beneath the surface. Today is the day those secrets will be revealed. The prosecutor rises, her heels clicking sharply on the polished floor. "Mr. Brown," she says, her voice calm but icy, "are you aware of the allegations being brought against you today?" Kody swallows hard. His throat is dry, his voice low. "Yes, Your Honor. I believe so. But I'm not sure I fully understand all of it." Christine tilts her head, a small smirk crossing her lips. "Not sure you understand, Kody? This isn't a game. The truth has been waiting for you, and it's not at all patient." Robin leans in, lowering her voice. "Just focus. Don't let her get inside your head." The tension in the room is almost palpable. Even the bailiff fidgets uncomfortably, as if the air itself had thickened. Every breath feels calculated, measured, as if any wrong move could spark an explosion of conflict. First to the stand is the family accountant, a no-nonsense woman in her mid-40s, sharp of eyes and neat about her manner. She carries a manila folder, its edges worn from handling, as if holding within it the power to change this family's course forever. She clears her throat and begins. "On March 12th, she says, voice steady but tinged with anxiety, "I noticed several irregular transfers in Mr. Brown's accounts. Transfers that did not match the family trust allocations. Some were intentional, some were misreported, but all were unusual." Kody's pulse races. His eyes dart to Robin, who gives his hand a reassuring squeeze. Christine leans forward slightly, her voice at low but cutting decibels. "You see, Kody? The numbers don't lie. The truth is staring everyone in the face, and it's your turn to answer." Mary squirms in her seat, biting at her lip until it is white. She's terrified to look directly at anyone, afraid to see the fallout. Janelle, always the quiet observer, leans forward just enough to hear, yet careful not to be intrusive. The prosecutor clicks her pen, pacing slowly as she prepares the next question. We also have statements from a family friend. They claim there were private conversations in which the allegations were deliberately misrepresented. Mr. Brown, are you aware of these conversations? Kody hesitates, his voice barely audible. I remember some discussions, but I didn't know. I didn't realize. Christine cuts in sharply, her eyes narrowing. You didn't realize? Or you chose not to? How convenient, Kody. How very convenient. Robin whispers in urgency. Ignore her. Just focus on your answers. The tension is palpable in this room, with every word falling like a hammer on fragile glass. Kody can feel the heavy burden of accusations mounting upon his person. He could almost hear the whispers of past mistakes that surround the courtroom. And then, the accountant slides a document across the table, crisp and intimidating. This, she says, voice deliberate, shows the transfers in question. Each line is documented, time-stamped, and verifiable. It paints a picture of what occurred in the months leading up to the allegations. The judge picks up the document, eyes scanning the contents. Mr. Brown, the judge says evenly, are you familiar with this? Kody swallows hard, looking down at the table, hands gripping the edges. Yes, I recognize the transactions, but I need to explain the context. Christine edges forward, a sharp tone in her voice. Context? Kody? This has been chaos for all of us because of these transfers. The family trusted you. Robin nudges Kody's shoulder lightly. Take a breath. Just explain it calmly. The accountant proceeds, detailing the irregularities in precise, almost clinical language. Every number, every note, every timestamp is a weight on Kody's shoulders. He feels exposed, vulnerable. The gallery shifts in their seats, sensing the tension, the brewing storm that's been building for years. Janelle's fingers tap rhythmically against her leg, a silent signal of the anxiety pulsating through her body. Mary bites the inside of her cheek, trying to hold back a scream that is more emotion than actual sound. Tears glisten in Robin's eyes, tears she refuses to let fall. Christine merely stands poised, a predator watching her prey. The prosecutor's voice finally cuts through the heavy moment of silence. Mr. Brown, this is just the beginning. Documents, witnesses, communications, they all point toward an intentional pattern. Can you explain why this pattern exists? Kody's voice shakes slightly as he says, I thought I was managing things in everyone's best interest. I never meant for it to be harmful, but it seems I've failed. A collective gasp, almost inaudible, escapes the gallery. The family exchanges nervous glances. Each feels the implication of his words differently. Relief, anger, confusion, fear. The judge leans forward, voice steady but firm. Mr. Brown, it is your responsibility to clarify these actions. The evidence is substantial. How do you plead regarding these allegations? Kody swallows hard, feeling the weight of years of family secrets pressing down. I plead. I need to explain everything fully before any judgment can be made. The judge's eyes narrow. Very well. The court will hear your full explanation. But let me make one thing clear. The truth, when brought out, may heal or destroy this family. The room holds its breath, with everybody suspended in a moment of uncertain anticipation. Kody closes his eyes for a brief moment, envisioning the chain reaction of revelations about to go down. He knows that as soon as the next testimony starts, things can never go back. Every secret, every hidden conversation, every betrayal is about to come forth, and family dynamics will never be the same. The courtroom feels smaller now, suffocating under the weight of tension. Every sound, shuffling papers, a cough, the quiet tap of heels on polished floors seems amplified. Kody sits rigid in his chair, his palms slick with sweat. The light from the courthouse windows glints off his wedding ring, but even that symbol of family unity feels fragile, like it could shatter at any moment. She moved in closer, her voice low under her breath. Stay calm. Breathe. Focus on the facts. Don't let them get inside your head. Kody nods subtly, but inside, the truth gnaws. The papers on the table, the testimony of this witness, the financial statements, they are so incriminating, much more than he expected. Now, the second witness is to speak. Someone who knows the family inside out, whose words could make suspicion turn into irreversible devastation. The woman stands, a friend and former confidant of Kody's. Her hand shakes slightly as she approaches the stand, but her eyes are steel, unwavering. I was there for several private conversations regarding the family accounts. She begins, voice calm but edged with intensity. And I have reason to believe that certain instructions were given to misallocate funds, conversations that Mr. Brown may have been aware of, but did not act to correct. Kody feels his throat constrict. I thought, he begins, but Christine leans forward, cutting him off with a sharp edge to her tone. Thought what? That no one would ever find out? That secrecy protects you? Secrets don't protect. They destroy. Robin squeezes his hand, grounding him, a silent anchor in the midst of the storm. Just answer the questions. Stick to the truth. The courtroom is electric with suspense. Even the judge leans forward, frowning, the gavel resting silently in hand. Every witness, every document, every whisper feels like it could tip the balance. The attorney paces slowly, presenting a folder to the court. Inside this folder are emails and notes, conversations that were meant to be private. They reference specific financial decisions, strategies, and instructions. Mr. Brown, do you recognize these? Kody's eyes widen a bit as he glances at the folder. He knows what's inside, but to see it laid bare here in the courtroom is another thing altogether. His mind races back to late-night phone calls, whispered assurances, and private meetings. Yes, he acknowledges, voice low. I recognize them, but context is important. I never intended. Christine sits back in her chair, her face unreadable. Context? Kody, your context has cost all of us. And now, truth no longer resides in your hands. It's out for all to see. The glint in Mary's eyes reflects tears she won't let fall. Janelle's hands clench in her lap, her knuckles white. Robin's hand tightens on Kody's, silent reassurance for both of them. The witness concludes, her voice unflinching. Some instructions were clearly manipulated to benefit certain individuals, while others suffered loss. I recorded everything and preserved all the details, because I knew this day might come. The question isn't whether irregularities occurred, it's whether they were deliberate and who orchestrated them. The courtroom turns silent, as if it holds a collective breath, while the implications sink in. Kody's chest tightens, feeling the weight of suspicion press down on him. He wants to protest his innocence, to explain, but words falter under the magnitude of the revelation. The prosecutor steps closer. Mr. Brown, did you authorize these transactions? Did you have knowledge of any manipulations that caused harm to the family? Kody's voice shakes slightly. I thought I was doing what was best for this family. I realize now, mistakes were made. Oversights, misjudgments. I did not fully realize the full extent. The smirk falls from Christine's face, melting into something sharper, an edge of anger that sends a chill through the room. Oversights? Kody, this wasn't a mistake. People were hurt. Trust was broken. And now, the evidence is here for everyone to witness. Robin whispers again. Hold on, Kody, you can survive this. Just stay calm. Then, a clerk slides a new folder across to the judge. He opens it gingerly, his eyes narrowing at the contents. Kody's stomach bottoms out. The folder contains recordings, private conversations he thought would never see the light of day. Whispers, phone calls, strategic instructions that reveal the deeper machinations of the family's financial web. The judge's voice cuts through the tension. "Mr. Brown, do you recognize these recordings?" Kody swallows hard, throat dry. "Yes, but Christine leans forward, her voice taking on a low, dangerous tone. "But you what, Kody? You think we won't hear the truth? That secrets stay buried forever?" The audio starts, and Kody hears his voice, a weird tangle of confidence and uncertainty, speaking words he can hardly remember. Each sentence falls into the courtroom like a hammer, shattering the fragile peace. The family reacts instantly. Janelle rocks slightly in her seat, her fingers pressing into her palms. Mary's eyes widen in disbelief. Robin grips Kody's arm as though holding him upright. Christine's face is inscrutable, but her gaze pierces Kody like a blade. On this recording, there are conversations about misallocations, about instructions that were meant to obscure certain transactions, and about plans that involve decisions Kody thought were confidential. The implications are huge. Every movement, every decision, every whisper of betrayal is now public record. Kody rises slightly, hands shaking. I didn't mean for this to happen. I thought I was protecting everyone, making decisions in good faith. But it's clear now that trust was broken, and I failed to see who was taking advantage of me and of all of us. Tears threaten to fall as Robin's eyes glisten. "We face this together," she says in a soothing tone, trying to anchor him. Christine steps closer to the edge of the table, voice sharp. "Together? Kody, this isn't about survival. This is about truth, accountability, and consequences. You can't hide behind intentions anymore." The judge slams the gavel lightly, calling for order. The courtroom grows quiet again, but the tension is palpable, thick as fog. Everyone in the room feels it, even the bailiffs. Kody's heart pounds, and sweat trickles down his temple. The attorney then pursues the next line of evidence, a series of texts, messages between Kody and a business associate, which insinuate not only awareness of misallocations, but perhaps deliberate concealment. The words are clear, time-stamped, undeniable. The courtroom holds its breath while the messages are read aloud. Mary gasps, her trembling hands covering her mouth. Janelle's head tilts back, eyes wide, trying to process the reality of what's just been said. Robin squeezes Kody's hand, a silent plea to hold on. Christine leans in, savoring the moment as every reaction plays out. The judge gazes piercingly at Mr. Kody Brown. "Mr. Brown, the evidence in this case is overwhelming. This court now has to consider both financial actions and the intent and awareness of such actions. How do you respond to these messages?" Kody closes his eyes for a brief moment, gathering his courage. I know decisions were made that were not transparent. I accept my part in this, but I can see now how maybe I was manipulated. There are others involved here, people whom I trusted. Christine's eyebrow arches, her voice low and cutting. "Others? Kody, who are these others? The court, the family, the viewers deserve to know." Robin leans in closely, whispering, "You can't tell them everything yet, only enough to safeguard what counts." Tension builds to almost unbearable levels in the room. Every family member meets eyes that reflect fear, anger, confusion, betrayal. Kody feels the weight of years of secrets crushing him, and yet There's a sliver of determination in his eyes. The air is thick, heavy, and almost suffocating in this courtroom. Every heartbeat echoes like a drum. Every footstep, a warning that the next revelation might explode the fragile balance of this family. Kody sits rigid, his eyes darting nervously between the judge, the witnesses, and the gallery. The documents, recordings, and messages had already shaken the foundations, but the next wave was en route, and it would hit harder than any of them could imagine. Robin leans in, murmuring in a soft tone, "Just breathe, stay steady, you can survive this." Her hand finds his, clutching tight, as though anchoring him to reality. Kody nods, swallowing hard, but he can feel the weight of judgment pressing down, not only from the court, but from the family he spent decades trying to protect. Christine gets up from her chair. All her movements are exact, almost predatory. Every gesture conveys control and anticipation. "Kody, it's time to face the truth," she says in a low, controlled, cutting voice. "We've all been waiting, holding our breath, watching. And now it's here, the full story." Mary's face pales, her hands twisting in her lap. "Christine, please, this isn't the time to." Christine cuts her off, ignoring the plea. "No, Mary, it's always been time. This is about truth, about accountability, about who we are when everything is laid bare." Janelle leans forward, her jaw clenched, her fingers pressing into her knees. She looks at Kody, eyes searching for any hint of explanation or, perhaps even more so, contrition. She knows him better than anybody else, but the events of the last few weeks have created a chasm in their trust that seems impossible to cross. The judge clears their throat, the gavel resting ominously on the bench. "Order in the courtroom," they say, voice firm. "Mr. Brown, you may address the allegations fully." Kody swallows hard, feeling the dryness in his mouth and the jumble of guilt, regret, and fear in his head. I know there's been confusion, misunderstandings, decisions I made that I believed were in everyone's best interest." His voice breaks, betraying an inner turmoil he doesn't have full control over. Christine moves in closer, her face almost unreadable, but fire dances in her eyes. "Decisions, Kody. These were more than decisions. They were manipulations. Choices that affected all of us, our trust, our finances, our lives. And now, you're supposed to explain them?" Robin's hand squeezes his, a silent plea for composure. "Just be honest. That's all you can do." The attorney produces a set of new documents. "Your Honor, we have transcripts of private conversations, emails, and phone records between Mr. Brown and third parties. They indicate knowledge of misallocated funds and potential concealment of information from family members. Mr. Brown, can you explain this?" Kody's chest constricts. Late-night talks, silent calls, muttered reassurances to prevent panic. Now those very decisions are being held up in court as proof of wrongdoing. I thought I was protecting everyone," he says with a quivering voice. "I thought that by managing the situation discreetly, I could avert chaos. It seems I failed at all counts." Tears well up in Mary's eyes, a mix of relief and heartbreak. "We trusted you," she whispers low. "We trusted you to lead us." Janelle's fists clench. "Lead us? Kody, this isn't leadership. This is deception. And now we're paying the price." Christine's voice is low and cutting as she steps closer to the bench. "Deception, yes, but now the truth has finally arrived. No more secrets, no more concealing. Now it's time to answer for everything." Robin leans in closer, her voice nearly a whisper. "We'll get through this. Just stay focused." The judge raises his hand. "Order." We will proceed one statement at a time. Mr. Brown, you may respond to the transcripts. Kody exhales shakily, trying to steady himself. Some of the conversations, yes, I was aware, but I never intended harm. I thought I could manage the situation, making decisions in a manner that would minimize conflict. I see now that was naive. And I understand the consequences are far-reaching. Christine tilts her head, her voice low and deadly. Naive or deliberate? Because the court will see every message, every instruction, and decide whether these were innocent mistakes or intentional acts that betrayed us all. The courtroom goes still, and everyone holds their breath, feeling the sensitive line Kody treads. A single misworded question, one hesitation, and everything might go awry. Then, a court clerk slides a folder across towards the judge. Kody's eyes widen slightly. He recognizes it in an instant. The recordings, previously considered private, now laid bare in the courtroom. Murmurs ripple through the gallery. The audio plays. Kody's own voice echoing back at him. Words he barely remembers saying. Each sentence lands like the strike of a hammer. Late-night conversations, private meetings, strategies exposed for all to hear. Mary gasps, her trembling hands flying to her mouth. Janelle bobs gently in her chair, trying to fully comprehend the weight of what she's been told. Robin squeezes Kody's hand, her eyes welling up with tears that don't fall. Christine leans back, almost savoring the moment, every reaction fueling the tension. The recordings are about financial strategies, transfers, and decisions that should have been kept private. At times, Kody's voice is smooth. At others, it's uncertain, a potent mix that speaks volumes for his innocence and his guilt. The implications couldn't be clearer. The family has been blindsided, and every member now must face the music. The judge looks up, voice firm. Mr. Brown, the court must consider both intent and awareness. Are these decisions a result of negligence, or was there deliberate action? With a heavy sigh, Kody slowly exhales, trying to steady his shaking hands. I realize that some decisions were poorly judged. Now I can see trust was broken. And I also understand that others may have taken advantage of me. I cannot go back in time, but I'd like to make amends. Robin whispers softly, we'll face it together. Don't let them see you crumble. Christine speaks with a low, cutting voice, leaning in closer. Together? Kody, this isn't about together. It's about truth. And the truth hurts more than any defense you can offer. The tension in the courtroom rises to almost unbearable levels. Every look, every breath, every tiny movement is imbued with emotion. The full weight of years of secrets and concealment presses in on Kody, smothering him, yet lighting a flicker of determinism in his soul. Next, the attorney introduces a series of messages between Kody and a trusted associate. The messages clearly reveal that there is awareness of misallocations and instructions that could be read as concealment. The words are stamped with time and therefore undeniable. All eyes in the courtroom turn to Kody, awaiting a reaction. Janelle sharply exhales, her face flashing disbelief and anger. Mary's hands quiver as her fingers clench onto the edge of the chair. Robin's eyes glisten as she tries to hold her tears back. Christine comes closer, her eyes relishing each reaction. The tension builds. The judge looks Kody dead in the eye. Mr. Brown, the evidence is very compelling. It's now up to you to address both the actions and the awareness behind them. What do you have to say? Kody closes his eyes briefly, garnering courage from deep within. I realize there was some faulty judgment. I made choices in hopes of taking care of the family. but I can see now how some of those choices have hurt. And I didn't realize how certain people were taking advantage of a situation. Christine's voice drops to a whisper, sharp and cutting, unaware or unwilling to face the truth. The court and the family deserves the full answer. The courtroom hangs on his every word, the air almost vibrating with tension. Kody feels the weight of every expectation, every fear, every betrayal. The silence is deafening. Cliffhanger. The courtroom doors burst open unexpectedly. A figure in the doorway is one close to the family, but not exactly who would ever show up in this place. All eyes snap in that direction instantly. Kody swallows hard, knowing immediately this could be the testimony that might save the family or destroy everything they had ever thought they knew. The room holds its collective breath, knowing that what's next will change everything. The weight of this courtroom feels almost unbearably heavy, as if the very air presses down upon those present. Every breath seems measured, every whisper amplified. Kody sits frozen in his chair, palms slick with sweat, eyes darting to every corner of the room. Robin's hand rests on his arm, her grip firm, a silent lifeline amidst the storm of judgment surrounding him. Christine leans forward, a predator watching prey, her gaze sharp and almost unreadable. "Kody," she says quietly, her words slicing through the silence. "We've seen the documents, the recordings, and the messages. But there's more. The truth runs deeper than you can imagine, and it's about to surface." Mary leans back in her seat, her body shaking slightly, clutching a folder against her chest. "Christine, please, this is enough." Her voice breaks to a near whisper. Her tone ripples with fear and anticipation. Janelle, ever the silent observer, presses her lips together tightly, her eyes fixed on Kody. Her hands tap against her legs, an involuntary signal of anxiety. She has learned over the years to read him, to anticipate his moves. But now she feels blindsided, like the ground beneath her has shifted. The judge's gavel taps lightly, demanding order. "Mr. Brown, you may explain your actions fully." The court is listening carefully, and so is the family. Kody inhales sharply. I tried to protect everyone," he begins in a low, quivering voice. "I believed the choices I made would prevent chaos, ensure stability. But I see now that some of my actions may have unintentionally caused harm." And his voice catches between shame and fear. Christine leans in, her voice low, cutting. "Some of your actions, Kody, were deliberate. Don't hide behind good intentions." The court, the family, and the viewers are waiting for the truth. Robin squeezes Kody's hand and says, "Focus. Just speak your truth." The prosecutor gets up, pacing slowly. "Your Honor, we have found additional evidence, a number of emails, texts, and financial logs that point to the fact that some persons, acting in conspiracy, may have manipulated the family's funds. Mr. Brown, can you explain these communications?" Kody's eyes widen. He recognizes the names, the timestamps, the subtle instructions of conversations he had long buried in memory, thinking they were harmless. "Yes, I see them," he admits. "But I never realized the extent of manipulation that occurred. Some people I trusted." His voice falters, unable to finish the sentence. The smirk on Christine's face fades to a shadow of anger. Trusted or naive? Evidence shows these manipulations were not accidental, but calculated, and the person behind them might be closer to you than you ever imagined. Mary bites her lip, tears threatening to fall. Janelle leans forward, her heart racing. Robin squeezes Kody's hand tighter, trying to steady him, though even her composure is wavering. The clerk steps forward with a folder of new evidence. Kody's stomach tightens. He recognizes it instantly. A series of private messages between family members and a few outside parties, revealing a web of deliberate misdirection. Every word is timestamped, every instruction documented. The judge looks over at Kody, voice firm. "Mr. Brown, do you acknowledge these communications? How do you explain the intent behind them?" Kody swallows hard. I acknowledge the communications. I thought some of the instructions were minor, administrative, necessary for management. But I see now that they were interpreted, or perhaps orchestrated, in a way that caused harm. I take responsibility for not realizing it sooner. Christine leans forward, her eyes unflinching. Not realizing or refusing to see. Kody, the trust of this family has been eroded, and now, the full extent of what has been done is coming to light. We need names, we need accountability. Robin says, in a whispered tone, "Stay cool. Don't show all your cards yet." Even her voice shakes, betraying the apprehension in her own heart. The next witness is a family associate, someone close enough to internal discussions that Kody had considered him loyal. The room holds its collective breath as he begins to speak. "I have in my possession emails, recordings, and logs of intentional misallocation of assets, some of which were done with full knowledge of Mr. Brown. There were others, though, those who took advantage of the situation, and the evidence is clear and verifiable." Kody swallows hard, feeling a cold pit in his stomach. The words hang in the air like a storm cloud. Robin's hand is trembling in his. Mary leans forward, face pale, heart hammering. Janelle sits stiffly, every nerve on edge. Christine, for the first time in hours, allows a hint of satisfaction to flicker across her face. The judge slams his gavel lightly. "Order. The court will review these additional communications." It's all quite evident. The emails with secret instructions, messages with third parties, and financial logs that show manipulation. Kody can see it in his family's faces, their shock, anger, and disbelief. With each new revelation, the cracks in the trust go a little deeper. Kody rises slightly, taking a deep breath. I understand now. Maybe I was unaware of some manipulation, but I also see that I put my trust in some of the wrong people. There were those who took advantage of my position, my intentions, and my desire to protect this family. And because of that, damage has been done. Robin squeezes his hand tightly. "We'll face this together," she says in a whisper, her voice trembling with fear. Christine leans forward, low and deliberate. "Together. Kody, this isn't about survival. This is about truth. And the truth is about to expose everything, including the betrayals you didn't even see coming." Mary gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. Janelle rocks back slightly, eyes wide. Even the bailiff shifts, uncomfortable with the raw emotion in the room. The attorney rises and produces the next bombshell. A series of photographs, screenshots, and emails that show behind-the-scenes manipulations. Every piece points to Kody's unawareness, but also to the deliberate actions of others. The courtroom holds its collective breath. Kody feels the weight of every word, every image, every message. It's a tidal wave of revelation, a storm which no one in that room could turn a blind eye to. He swallows to steady his voice. I didn't intend for anyone to be hurt, but I realize now that others used my trust to their advantage, and the consequences are devastating. The judge leans forward, voice piercing. "Mr. Brown, it is crystal clear that there were several parties in this. The court expects an explanation from you as to your position and involvement in these actions." Kody exhales shakily, his eyes flicking to his family. I I'll explain. I want to make it right. But the truth involves more than just me. Some people acted in ways I could not have anticipated. And the fallout, it's already affected all of you. The courtroom feels like it's holding its breath. Every pair of eyes is locked on Kody as the doors swing open once again. The figure stepping through the threshold is someone intimately connected to the family, someone whose words could tilt the entire case, unravel hidden alliances, and expose betrayals no one saw coming. The room goes silent, the air thick with anticipation. Robin's knuckles are white as she tightly clasps Kody's hand, apparently to anchor him to reality. "Stay calm," she says in barely whispered tones. "You can get through this." Christine's eyes narrow, a predator sensing the climax of her hunt. "Finally," she says in an undertone, soft but full of anticipation, "time for the truth." Mary's hands tremble as she clasps them together, knuckles pressed white. She leans forward slightly, eyes wide, sensing the storm that's about to break. Janelle's posture is rigid, every muscle tense, bracing for the reveal she knows will change everything. The witness comes forward, a one-time close associate and confidant of Kody's tight circle. The expression on his face is impassive, even cold, while at the same time, a tension radiates from him that is unmistakable. "I have been instructed to disclose information that has long been kept from the family. Information that directly implicates certain individuals in deliberate acts of betrayal." Kody swallows hard, chest tightening. His mind races, remembering late-night discussions, whispered instructions, moments he believed were private. I don't understand," he says softly, voice trembling. Christine leans forward, voice low and cutting. "Oh, Kody, you will understand soon enough. The court, the family, and everyone watching are about to witness the truth. Truth you tried to hide, and the truth others manipulated behind your back." The judge raises an eyebrow, signaling the witness to continue. The witness nods, taking a deep breath. "Over the past months, I've documented several instances where financial allocations, communications, and even certain family decisions were manipulated without Mr. Brown's knowledge. These actions were deliberate, orchestrated to create conflict and mistrust within the family." And their voice drops slightly, creating a tense pause. The person responsible is someone very close to this family. Kody feels the room shift around him. Robin's grip tightens, but even she cannot mask the fear in her eyes. Mary gasps softly, covering her mouth, while Janelle leans forward, heart pounding. Christine sits back slightly, smirk replaced by a thin, tense line, as though savoring every moment. The witness pulls out a folder, sliding it across the table to the judge. Inside are emails, recordings, and messages, proof of the manipulations, each time-stamped, each documented. The evidence shows deliberate actions meant to mislead Mr. Brown and create a rift in the family. Kody exhales shakily, his eyes scanning the folder. He recognizes some of the names and timestamps. Every memory comes rushing back. Late-night instructions, calls he thought were private, advice that he had trusted blindly. Now each one was exposed, dissected, and used against him. Christine leans forward, whispering under her breath, "Kody, you see, even your trust has been weaponized against you." The witness continues, detailing the extent of the betrayals, misallocated funds, deliberately misleading instructions, orchestrated misunderstandings, and confidential communications exploited to create maximum emotional turmoil. Each revelation lands like a hammer, shaking the foundation of the family. Mary's hands are shaking. Janelle's jaw clenches. Robin holds tight onto Kody's hand, so hard it hurts, but she doesn't let go. Kody swallows hard, realizing the scope of what has been hidden from him and from everyone else. The witness pauses for effect, letting the tension build. And the responsible party is not only someone within this family's inner circle, but someone who has had Kody's trust for years. Their actions were calculated, emotional, and deeply personal. Kody's stomach drops. His mind is racing. Who could have done this? Who could betray him and the family so completely? Robin leans in, whispering, "Stay calm. Just listen." Christine's eyes narrow, with lips pursed. "It's time to see the consequences of misplaced trust, Kody. The truth doesn't forgive mistakes, it exposes them." The courtroom is silent, the collective tension palpable. Even the judge leans forward, pen poised above the bench. The witness pulls out a set of printed messages and emails, reading carefully from them. Each line reveals deception, hidden agendas, and deliberate actions intended to manipulate Kody and the dynamics within the family. Mary gasps again, tears welling. Janelle lets out a sharp exhalation. Her eyes are wide with shock. Robin buries her face in Kody's shoulder, trying to protect him from the emotional blow, but not holding back her own. Christine leans back in her chair, delighted with the exposure of all the betrayals. The judge slams the gavel lightly, restoring order. "Mr. Brown, the court must consider both the awareness of these actions and the deliberate manipulation behind them. Please respond." Kody takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of years of trust, secrecy, and family responsibility weighing down upon him. I see now that I was unaware of the full extent of these actions. I trusted individuals who I thought had my best interest and the family's best interest at heart. And I see now that some of them were taking advantage of that trust. Christine leans forward, her voice low and cutting. "Some or one? Kody, the court, and your family deserves specifics. Who betrayed you? Who used your trust to manipulate everything?" Kody swallows, voice shaking a bit. It was someone very close. Someone I thought was on my side. I can't fully explain why it happened, but the impact is clear. The family has been hurt. Trust has been broken, and the consequences are unavoidable. Mary begins to softly cry, her face hidden in trembling hands. Janelle rocks back in disbelief, eyes wide and scanning every reaction in the courtroom. Robin presses into Kody, her voice hushed. "We'll survive this. Together." The witness adds a final, chilling detail. "Mr. Brown, there is further evidence that some manipulations were designed to appear as though they originated from you." This has caused emotional distress and confusion among the family, which was the intent of the person responsible. Kody's face goes white as he realizes that some of the blame he had carried himself might have been deliberately planted, a calculated attempt at scapegoating. Robin squeezes his hand, her voice urgent in a whisper. "Don't let this break you. Just stay focused." Christine's expression is razor sharp. "Kody, this is Judgment Day. The truth is out. Your actions, your trust, your decisions all intersect with these betrayals. And what happens next will be judged. The family and the viewers will judge it." The courtroom holds its collective breath. Every family member, every observer, and every official present feels the tension. A live wire humming through the room. Kody exhales shakily, gripping the edge of the table. He knows that the next words spoken might salvage his credibility or shatter the fragile remnants of trust forever. Period.